Good morning. Good morning, kindergartners and first graders of Kea'au Elementary School. Today's Monday, March 30th, and in this little video that I pre-recorded, I'm just going to help you with a few of the reading and writing tasks and activities that your teachers prepared for you, okay? And so for kindergarten, we're going to go over some rhyming, and then we're going to do a little read aloud and some writing that the first graders were tasked to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with you. I know maybe your parents or your aunties or uncles are watching with you. So I want to also share with them where you can find these online resources. So a place you can go to every single day to find what you need to do for kindergarten and first grade for reading and math and other free resources is go to our Kea'au website. Here it is. Go down to the parent site. Scroll down, and then you see here where it says kindergarten and where it says first grade, just click the link. So I just click the kindergarten link. Here are our lovely kindergarten teachers. And then if you go here under the subtitle that says March 30th through April 3rd, click here to access the weekly lessons. It'll show you what you could be working on with your child, what you could be working on with your mom or dad or auntie or uncle or tutu at home. Okay, same thing with first grade. So first grade, you can do the same thing. Look for grade 1, click the link. Go down to the bottom, click where it says, click here under the subtitles, March 30th, May 1st, and you will see what our first grade teachers would like you to do on each day of the week. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the activities today. And this is a video, so make sure that if I go too fast, you can always press pause on the video so that you can catch up. And you can always rewind the video or fast forward it, depending on how slow or fast you want me to go on the video. Okay, so I'm going to go over to just a quick slideshow to let you know. So today is March 30th, 2020, and I'm going to go over with you guys a couple of things from the tasks that your teachers had created for you guys. We're going to go over rhyming. We're going to watch a really fun rhyming video that was done by a teacher in the continental United States, Mr. Woods. And then we'll go over 1, 2, buckle my shoe, because kindergartners, you guys have to circle the rhyming words there, right? And we're going to practice rhyming. For our first graders, we're going to do a quick read aloud. Parents, adults who are watching, StorylineOnline.net has a lot of free read alouds, and we are going to listen to Brave Irene today by William Steig. And then we are going to just begin some writing. Our first grade teachers wanted us to read aloud, talk a little bit about the book, and then choose one of these 3 prompts to write about. And if you want to write about all 3 prompts, go for broke. We can definitely do that. Okay, so just remember that if you need to pause the video, go right ahead and pause the video. The materials you're going to need for this video really is just a piece of paper to write on and a pencil. First graders, your first grade teachers did provide a writing template in your packet if you picked up your packet already. But if you don't have the packet, don't worry, just take out a piece of binder paper or just blank piece of paper and a pencil, and it'll work just as fine. Kindergartners, you can also join us along if you would like to do the writing prompt after we do the read aloud. Okay. Oops. All right, so we're going to go on to rhyming words. Here we go. It's really important, right? Kindergartners, you know this, and first graders too, because your teachers have gone over how important it is to listen to poems and to say poems that have a lot of rhyming words, because it helps you learn how to read better. It helps you understand language and sound. So if you take a look at these words here on the left that Mrs. Blaber wrote down in pink, this word is, what is this word? Very good, it's sky. Next word in pink is my. Very good. Those are two rhyming words. You hear the sound, sky, my. All right. Next word. This word is, very good. This is blue. Next word is shoe. So blue and shoe, they do rhyme. They are rhyming words. Next row, we have bed. Very good. This word is red. Very nice. So bed and red are rhyming words. Another set of rhyming words. We have sun and fun. Very good. Sun and fun rhyme. Yes. Next word. Old, cold. Very good. Those words rhyme. Old and cold. Now let's listen in to what Mr. Woods, he put a fun song together to review what rhyming words. Rhyming words have the same sound, same main sound. Here we go. Oops.
Hello, kids. Today we are going to rhyme. Are you ready to rhyme with me?
You can sing along too.
Let's go. Cat, bat, hat, rat. Cat, bat, hat, rat. These are rhyming words. Rhyming words. These are rhyming words. Let's rhyme. These are rhyming words. Rhyming words. These are rhyming words. Let's rhyme. Fan, pen, can, man. Fan, pen, can, man. Cap, map, nap, tap. Cap, nap, nap, tap. Dad, sad, pad, lad. Dad, sad, pad, lad. Pin, min, hen, tin. Pin, min, hen, tin. These are rhyming words. Rhyming words. These are rhyming words. Let's rhyme. These are rhyming words. Rhyming words. These are rhyming words. Let's rhyme.
All right. Wasn't that a fun song? So rhyming words. Okay, so our main task for our kindergarten, one of our main tasks for kindergarten is to look at this poem. We're going to read it aloud together, and the teachers would like us to circle the words that rhyme. Circle the words that rhyme. This is one of my favorite poems, and I think I used to use hand motions to play this game. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. All right, so let me move this out of the way. And okay, here we go. So this poem is called 1, 2, buckle my shoe. So your job, kindergartners and first graders, you can join along, is circle all the words that rhyme in each line or in each couple of lines. So let's read the title. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. There are 2 words that rhyme in that line. I'll give you a few seconds. You can say them out loud. Okay, ready? All right, if you chose the word to and shoe, you are correct. Those 2 words rhyme. Okay, let's read the Rest of the poem. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. All right, there are 2 words that rhyme there. That's right, we already chose them. We chose to and shoe because they were in the title. Good job. Next words. 3, 4, knock at the door. I'm going to stop because there are 2 more words that rhyme with each other in that line, in those lines. Did you get it? If you chose the words for and door, you are correct. Those words rhyme. Next. Oops, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Mrs. Blaber's having some problems here. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 2 words rhyme there. What are the 2 words in these 2 lines? Good. They are 6 and sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. So Mrs. Blaber is going to continue, but you can press pause on the video to stop and decide which 2 words of the 2 lines actually rhyme. So 7, 8, lay them straight. You can pause. I'm going to go on. 9, 10, a big fat hen. Some of those words we saw in Mr. Wood's video, yeah? 11, 12, dig and delve. Ooh, that's kind of a harder one, but I know you can get it. 13, 14, maids are a-courting. Ooh, that's another hard one. 15, 16, maids in the kitchen. That's an interesting one. 17, 18, maids awaiting. 19, 20, my plate's empty. All right. So I hope you were able to circle the rhyming words, and I know that the adult or your older sibling, sister or brother or cousin can help you with that. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. So remember, your job was to look at each of the 2 lines and circle the rhyming words. And if you are done, pat yourself on the back for doing a good job. Remember, it's important to know rhymes because they help you become a better reader. All right, so let's move on to our read aloud. Okay, my friends, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to a read aloud. Our first grade teachers would like us to read a book together, talk about it, and then write about it. And it's always important to choose a book you like. When you read it, always talk about it or think about it in your head because that helps you learn better and helps your brain with learning. So the book that Mrs. Blaber chose for you guys, I chose the book called Brave Irene. It's about a girl who decides to help her mom, and she goes through a couple of challenges. She almost gives up, but she thinks of her family and how much she loves her mom, and she just has the courage to keep on going. So we're gonna have, it's gonna be a read aloud. Somebody by the name of Al Gore, he used to be one of our vice presidents of the United States. He's gonna read it aloud to all of you. And there are 3 prompts, 3 questions that the first grade teachers would like you to think about when you're reading this book. What was your favorite part? What was the main idea of the book? And what are the key details in the book that support its main idea? I gave you a kind of hint already about some of the answers to those prompts. So think about that. Remember, you can always pause this video if you want to write those down and then unpause it for the remainder of the video. We are going to now listen to the video. Here he is. This guy's name is Mr. Al Gore, and he used to be the Vice President of the United States. All right, we're going to listen to him. And this video is about 14 minutes long. Listen carefully. You can pause the video at any time to write down things that you want to remember. Remember, you can replay the video as well. And here we go. Brave Irene by William Steig. Oops. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Al Gore, and this is part of the Book Pals program, sponsored by the Screen Actors Guild Foundation. And today, I'm going to read you this book, written and illustrated by William Steig. It's called Brave Irene. Here's how it begins. Mrs. Bobbin, the dressmaker, was tired and had a bad headache, but she still managed to sew the last stitches in the gown she was making. "It's the most beautiful dress in the whole world," said her daughter, Irene. "The Duchess will love it." "It is nice," her mother admitted. "But, Dumpling, it's for tonight's ball, and I don't have the strength to bring it. I feel sick." "Poor Mama," said Irene. "I can get it there." "No, Cupcake, I can't let you," said Mrs. Bobbin. "Such a huge package, and it's such a long way to the palace. Besides, it's starting to snow." "But I love snow," Irene insisted. She coaxed her mother into bed, covered her with 2 quilts, and added a blanket for her feet. Then she fixed her some tea with lemon and honey and put more wood on the stove. With great care, Irene took the splendid gown down from the dummy and packed it in a big box with plenty of tissue paper. "Dress warmly, Pudding," her mother called in a weak voice. "And don't forget to button up. It's cold out there and windy." Irene put on her fleece-lined boots, her red hat and muffler, her heavy coat, and her mittens. She kissed her mother's hot forehead 6 times, and then once again made sure she was tucked in snugly, and slipped out with the big box, shutting the door firmly behind her. It really was cold outside, very cold. The wind whirled the falling snowflakes about this way, that way, and into Irene's squinting face. She set out on the uphill path to Farmer Bennett's sheep pasture. By the time she got there, the snow was up to her ankles, and the wind was worse. It hurried her along and made her stumble. Irene resented this. The box was problem enough. Easy does it," she cautioned the wind, leaning back hard against it. By the middle of the pasture, the flakes were falling thicker. Now the wind drove Irene along so rudely she had to hop, skip, and go helter-skeltering over the knobby ground. Cold snow sifted into her boots and chilled her feet. She pushed out her lip and hurried on. This was an important errand. When she reached Apple Road, the wind decided to put on a show. It ripped branches from trees and flung them about, swept up and scattered the fallen snow, got in front of Irene to keep her from moving ahead. Irene turned around and pressed on backwards. "Go home," the wind squalled. "Irene, go home." "I will do no such thing," she snapped. "No such thing, you wicked wind." "Go home," the wind yodeled. "Go home," it shrieked, "or else." For a short second, Irene wondered if she shouldn't heed the wind's warning. But no, the gown had to get to the Duchess. The wind wrestled her for the package, walloped it, twisted it, shook it, snatched at it. But Irene wouldn't yield. "It's my mother's work," she screamed. Then, oh woe, the box was wrenched from her mittened grasp and sent bumbling along in the snow. Irene went after it. She pounced and took hold, but the ill-tempered wind ripped the box open. The ball gown flounced out and went waltzing through the powdered air with tissue paper attendants. Irene clung to the empty box and watched the beautiful gown disappear. How could anything so terribly wrong be allowed to happen? Tears froze on her lashes. Her dear mother's hard work, all those days of measuring, cutting, pinning, stitching for this? And the poor Duchess. Irene decided she would have to trudge on with just the box and explain everything in person. She went shuffling through the snow. Would her mother understand, she wondered, that it was the wind's fault, not hers? Would the Duchess be angry? The wind was howling like a wild animal. Suddenly, Irene stepped in a hole and fell over with a twisted ankle. She blamed it on the wind. "Keep quiet," she scolded. "You've done enough damage already. You've spoiled everything. Everything." The wind swallowed up her words. She sat in the snow in great pain, afraid she wouldn't be able to go on. But she managed to get to her feet and start moving. It hurt. Home, where she longed to be, where she and her mother could be warm together, was far behind. It's got to be closer to the palace, she thought. But where any place was in all this snow, she couldn't be sure. She plowed on, dragging furrows with her sore foot. The short winter day was almost done. Am I still going the right way, she wondered. There was no one around to advise her. Whoever else there was in this snow-covered world was far, far away and safe indoors, even the animals in their burrows. She went plodding on. Soon night took over. She knew in the dark that the muffled snow was still falling. She could feel it. She was cold and alone in the middle of nowhere. Irene was lost. She had to keep moving. She was hoping she'd come to a house, any house at all, and be taken in. She badly needed to be in someone's arms. The snow was above her knees now. She shoved her way through it, clutching the empty box. She was asking how long a small person could keep this struggle up when she realized it was getting lighter. There was a soft glow coming from somewhere below her. She waded toward this glow and soon was gazing down a long slope at a brightly lit mansion. It had to be the palace. Irene pushed forward with all her strength, and sloosh, thwop, she plunged downward and was buried. She had fallen off a little cliff. Only her hat and the box in her hand stuck out above the snow. Even if she could call for help, no one would hear her. Her body shook, her teeth shattered. Why not freeze to death, she thought, and let all these troubles end? Why not? She was already buried. And never see her mother's face again? Her good mother who smelled like fresh baked bread? In an explosion of fury, she flung her body about to free herself and was finally able to climb up on her knees and look around. How to get down to that glittering palace? As soon as she raised the question, she had the answer. She laid the box down and climbed aboard, but it pressed into the snow and stuck. She tried again, and this time, instead of climbing on, she leaped. The box shot forward like a sled. The wind raced after Irene, but couldn't keep up. In a moment, she would be with people again, inside where it was warm. The sled slowed and jerked to a stop on paving stones. The time had come to break the bad news to the Duchess. With the empty box clasped to her chest, Irene strode nervously toward the palace. But then her feet stopped moving and her mouth fell open. She stared. Maybe this was impossible, yet there it was. A little way off and over to the right, hugging the trunk of a tree, the beautiful ball gown. The wind was holding it there. "Mama," Irene shouted. "Mama, I found it." She managed somehow, despite the wind's meddling, to get the gown off the tree and back in its box. And in another moment, she was at the door of the palace. She knocked twice with the big brass knocker. The door opened and she burst in. She was welcomed by cheering servants and a delirious duchess. They couldn't believe she had come over the mountain in such a storm, all by herself. She had to tell the whole story, every detail, and she did. Then she asked to be taken right back to her sick mother. But it was out of the question, they said. The road that ran around the mountain wouldn't be cleared until morning. "Don't fret, child," said the Duchess. "Your mother is surely sleeping now. We'll get you there first thing tomorrow." Irene was given a good dinner as she sat by the fire, the moisture steaming off her clothes. The Duchess, meanwhile, got into her freshly ironed gown before the guests began arriving in their sleighs. What a wonderful ball it was. The Duchess in her new gown was like a bright star in the sky. Irene in her ordinary dress was radiant. She was swept up into dances by handsome aristocrats who kept her feet off the floor to spare her ankle. Her mother would enjoy hearing all about it. Early the next morning, when snow had long since ceased falling, Mrs. Bobbin woke from a good night's sleep feeling much improved. She hurried about and got a fire going in the cold stove. Then she went to look in on Irene, but Irene's bed was empty. She ran to the window and gazed at the white landscape. No one out there. Snow powder fell from the branch of a tree. "Where is my child?" Mrs. Bobbin cried. She whipped on her coat to go out and find her. When she pulled the door open, a wall of drift faced her. But peering over it, she could see a horse-drawn sleigh hastening up the path. And seated on the sleigh between two large footmen was Irene herself, asleep but smiling. Would you like to hear the rest? Well, there was a bearded doctor in the back of the sleigh, and the Duchess had sent Irene's mother a ginger cake with white icing, some oranges, and a pineapple, and spice candy of many flavors, along with a note saying how much she cherished her gown and what a brave and loving person Irene was, which, of course, Mrs. Bobbin knew better than the Duchess. I hope you enjoyed this book, Brave Irene.
Okay, I love that story, and I just discovered that story today, actually. But I read it twice over. Okay, so I hope you like this story too about Brave Irene. She was really brave, wasn't she? All right, so the next thing that we are going to do is before we start writing about the Brave Irene, what are some things that you noticed about Irene and her mom? What are some things you noticed about Irene and her mom? Oops, excuse me. You can pause the video to talk about it, talk to yourself, or talk about it with your family. Okay. Yep, she was really young. She wasn't, I don't even think she was a teenager. She may be like maybe in fifth grade or maybe sixth grade. Um, and her mom was sick, right? And her mom had an important job. What was her mom's important job that she had that day? Exactly. She had to get the dress over to the Duchess, but her mom was sick and couldn't do it. And so Irene, goodness gracious, said that she would do it for her, right? And by the end of the story, she did. She overcame a lot of different challenges along the way, though. And so the title of the book is called Brave Irene. Why do you think the author titled the book Brave Irene? What does brave mean? Right, brave means having courage, not being afraid to do something. And that is definitely what Irene did in the story. All right, so let's look at these 3 questions. What was your favorite part? What was the main idea of the book? And what are the key details in the book that support its main idea? So you can choose any one to answer, and you can answer all 3 too if you want. But before we even begin writing, let's draw out our favorite part of the book, okay? Or your main idea, up to you. So when you draw it out, just go for broke. Try to remember. You can choose one of these prompts. I am choosing what was your favorite part. And I'm gonna draw out what I remember about what my favorite part of the book is too. All right, so you can put this video on pause and begin your drawing. And then when you're done with your drawing, you can press play again. So go ahead, you can pause the video and begin drawing. All right, welcome back. So I'm gonna share with you my drawing. My favorite part of the book was when, remember when Irene fell into the snow and she got stuck, but then she remembered her mom and the way that her mom smells, and she was like, her mom smells like fresh bread, and she thought, nope, this is not gonna stop me. So she jumped on the box and she used it as a sled, and then she slid down the hill all the way into the town, right? So there's my box. Can you see it? There's Irene with her snow hat on, and I labeled it Irene, the box, and the hill. So that was my favorite part. Can you guys see it? Okay. And so now that we've written it, and if you want to label the different pictures so that it helps you remember when you're writing, go ahead and label the different parts like Mrs. Blaber did. And then at the bottom part, you can begin writing what your favorite part was. So if you choose your favorite part, here are some sentence stems you could use. You can begin with my favorite part of the story is, and write down what your favorite part of the story is. And you also always want to give a reason why it was your favorite part. So Mrs. Blaber chose Irene's box sliding down the hill. This is my favorite part because it showed that Irene did not give up, and she solved her problem of getting down the hill by making a sled out of her box. That's a lot, yeah? So I have to think about how I'm gonna write that down. But it was my favorite part because it showed that she was a problem solver and she did something fun. Can you imagine that? Like jumping on the box and sliding down this snowy hill? That sounds like fun. I really like solving problems in a fun way. So your turn. After you've illustrated, drawn your picture of an answer to the prompt, make sure you write it at the bottom in word form, okay? You can pause the video and do that now. Alrighty. Okay, my friends, kindergartners and first graders, thank you so much. That's the end of our March 30th literacy portion. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope you guys are staying safe, staying at home, and eating well and reading well. I'll see you again next time. Have a good day.